Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new reaction. Today we're going to be reacting to the brand new Dead by Daylight 9th anniversary live stream. And hopefully there's going to be some Five Nights at Freddy's news in this live stream, hopefully. Anyway, let's not waste any time and get straight into the reaction. Alright. I'm actually live streaming as well. If you guys are watching the stream as of recording, hey guys, so if I look up, it's because I'm looking at chat and stuff.
We're back. We're here. We're live in Montreal. We're live in our studio, in our brand new studio. In the studio.
New studio. Who this?
Who
right?
dat?
That palette.
That is a palette. That is also a coffee table.
It's got coasters.
You know, you recognize this, but also not a picture frame. That is actually a video screen. We're not going to make use of it today because we literally just got it installed. Streams in the future. We're going to be having a lot of fun with a lot of these. They look like static picture frames, but really excited for us to have this as a resource here in our own studio in Montreal so we can do more stuff here, including videos that you do all the time, interviews, whatever. So yes, hello, welcome. There are a lot of you out there. Thank you for joining us. This is actually our second live stream of the month of May. Earlier, we were at PAX East in Boston, where also a bunch of people showed up in person, which was an incredible delight to meet so many people I only knew as online names and to ham it up in front of a live audience.
That was a great one.
So we just wanted to say thank you for that. That you know, was our first big live event in a long time, and y'all showed up. So hopefully that means we can do more. And the only negative of that event, we were not joined by Dork.
Yes.
Due to visa issues.
Yeah, it was really sad to be watching from the sidelines, but the hype in that room was electric. Like, even being at home, but just rooting you guys, that was just amazing. So I truly hope that maybe in the future I'll be able to meet you guys in person. But for now, let's get into today's live stream, which we're talking about part 2 of our anniversary live stream with the Dead by Daylight Five Nights at Freddy's live stream. And today, especially at PAX, you guys got a little taste of what was coming with this chapter. But now we're going to be talking about the map, the new gameplay, and the anniversary event, which is right around the corner.
We just gave them an app, and now they're getting the full pizza.
Yeah, the new full pizza.
So if you are new to Dead by Daylight, which I suspect some of you are, there are a lot of people here. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Hello, camera 2. If you're new to Dead by Daylight, I just want to quickly explain what's going on today. We're doing our stream, obviously, and generally we try to do these when we have either a release of the full chapter or, as is the case today, a PTB. If you don't know what PTB is, public test battle, flipping knows. What it is a test tool for us on the development team. Truly, it's a chance for us to get the build out early, find some rough edges, anything that might not be working, and get it up to gear, up to snuff for the full release, which is coming on June 17th. So I just wanted to set the stage for you in case you didn't know what PTB is, because we'll mention it a few times. But that is planned to go live as soon as we wrap up the show here today, if we time it perfectly. So stay tuned. All right, so Five Nights at Freddy's is our most requested chapter of all time. You have wanted this for a long time. FNAF fans have wanted it for a long time. DVD fans have wanted it for a long time. I have wanted it for a long time. Now it's actually happening.
Honestly, I haven't even heard of Dead by Daylight until it was announced that Five Nights at Freddy's was collaborating with Dead by Daylight.
So we're going to kick things off with a segment that you've been waiting for, Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay, playing as Springtrap. And helping us out, we're going to have
final
Jason
Twisted
back with us
Masquerade
to talk about Springtrap's gameplay, but also the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza map.
Live and Q&A. Okay, so we're going to be starting with playing Springtrap.
He's going to break down the
and then
anniversary event.
I don't know what the final Twisted
Masquerade
is. I'm mostly
Twisted Masquerade. Then we'll have a
I'm mostly guessing that is like the last part that they're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
The latest collections
I'm guessing
rolling into the fog here in a couple
By the way,
of
I'm only
months.
going to be
And then after that,
reacting
Eric
to
and I will be
the
back
Five
on the
Nights at
couch
Freddy's
to talk
portions
about
of
the
live
Dead
stream.
by
I'm not going to
Daylight
react
Creator
to
Program,
the
which
entire
I know
live
a lot
stream
of our content
in its
creators out there
entirety.
are at the edge of their seats waiting to hear news about, so stay tuned.
Just the Five Nights at
And we
Freddy's
also
portions.
have another thing to share with you that is new. Maybe you saw it in your news yesterday in the game. Little spoiler. We're going to be talking about the extremely cool new Dead by Daylight stats tracker that's coming up. We're going to be able to look at your in-game stats and progress as you play, which is really neat.
Yes, I cannot wait to see how many times I've died. After that, well, obviously, it's going to be wouldn't be a Dead by Daylight live stream
mine
without
is
having
probably
some
gonna be a
Twitch
lot.
drops. And we're going to
be
have
honest.
3 amazing Twitch drops for players to go ahead and redeem on
Cool
Twitch.
cake
So make sure you're
badge,
looking at the Twitch chat or looking at the
ZZL
QR code to go ahead and make sure you're
firecracker
linking
badge
your behavior
and
account
Final
so that you're not
Feast
missing it.
badge
It starts
banner.
today
Okay.
up until June 10th, but maybe, Eric, you want to tell us what we're going to get?
I do, although I don't know that it matches what's in the image. So we have 3
Twitch drops.
drops for you,
Okay.
but actually the first drop is a combo. You're going to get blood points as well as a smiling clown badge. Sorry, I don't. What I have written down versus what's in that image are not the same thing. So we're going to learn together what we get. Smiling clown badge, 200,000 blood points bundled together for watching 1 hour. Clown Den banner for watching 3 hours, and a pin the tail on the Maurice charm for anyone who accumulates 6 hours of watch time. Oh, Maurice, how I miss thee.
I miss him. I have to do my little head pats at the map.
I know. I hope he returns to us soon.
So,
Before we dive in, one last thing we did want to mention if you've been around for a few weeks. We're running a charity program at the moment, which
Nice.
I've been so psyched about, tied to Aurella's release. And it has already, well, it's finished, but it has over $200,000.
oh my God.
And that's before the multiplier that we're still calculating right now. So thank you to everyone who contributed to that charity. It's going to a really great cause.
Here we go. 5 Nights at Freddy's. Here. Sorry. Playing a Springtrap. So yeah, I don't think we've ever played as Springtrap before in any of the official Smash games anyways. I know we play as William Afton though, we've seen it. That's basically so yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. My brother is on yeah, you guys are excited. I'm excited.
Whoa! I was waiting for Jay to tell us when
turn
we're
it
ready, but we're live. See, we told you it's live. You didn't believe us. Okay, so hi Jay. Hi.
He's
So
even
from the
got
time
a
that we
five
announced
he's
that
even got
Five
a
Nights at Freddy's was coming to Dead by Daylight,
plushie. Nice.
Obviously, the excitement has been off the charts for Five Nights at Freddy's fans, for DBD fans, for myself, maybe you, and you know, people are speculating. Who's the killer going to be? Are we going to get a map, et cetera, et cetera?
I know
answered those
we're getting
things
that Springtrap's going to be
in a high-level way at
Five Nights at
PAX a
Freddy's
few weeks
themed
ago. Indeed, we will have a killer, Springtrap. For the first
Yep.
time ever, you get to play as Springtrap instead of be terrorized by Springtrap. Well, if you're a survivor, you'll still be terrorized. And also, we'll be bringing in a new map. So Jay has come here to join us. And if you have watched streams before, you would know Jay from such hits as Chucky and also Dracula. Jay is the killer designer on both of those. As well
Okay,
as
so he's
Springtrap.
worked
So
on
how are you
both
doing?
Chucky and
I'm doing
Dracula,
great,
which is the
thank
skin
you.
I'm wearing right
I'm
now
also
in
excited
Dead by
for you to
Daylight.
be here, Jay. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned, you worked on some pretty iconic licenses already. So when you were assigned Five Nights at Freddy's, what was it like?
Oh,
when
he's
you
also
first
going to be
started
the
working on it?
designer for Five Nights at Freddy's
It was
as
really
well.
interesting.
Nice.
I didn't have a lot of experience with it. Excuse me, my voice is my throats are a little dry today. I was obviously aware of it. I mean, everybody is. It's become so iconic in such a short
Yeah.
period of time. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't really realize how kind of deep the lore and the story went. before I started kind of looking into this chapter. So it's been cool, and like
the lore is absolutely deep.
Ever thought it would be, to be honest.
Oh yes,
there's so much
how cute it is, very horrifying. And actually, I think that's a very initial common ground DBD fans and FNAF fans will have. Deep lore on both games, much more than you'd expect. And once you dig in, it's really cool stuff, and it goes, like you said, it goes places.
Yeah.
So I guess the way you mentioned it, sounds like you had to do a lot of research to get up to speed.
For sure. One of my
likely,
favorite things about doing licenses like this is they give me an excuse, I guess, a reason to become like a real big nerd about one specific franchise or IP, and that's always amazing. Chucky, I got to watch all the movies, and Dracula, we played the games and watched stuff. So this one, I did the same thing. I jumped in. My main thing was YouTube and Twitch, watching streams. I watched.
If you ever want to see me play Castlevania, I will play Castlevania.
Some of the more popular.
I watched all the Chucky movies already.
All through all the games, including the VR stuff and things, not just to see the games and how they played, but also
because I love horror. Anything horror, I will play it.
Getting the inspiration for the experience of FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's, excuse me.
I think that's a really special thing.
You could say FNAF. That's fine.
Tackle it from a mechanics
FNAF,
point
Five
of
Nights at
view.
Freddy's.
You want to understand the community. You want to understand the players. Make them feel as welcome in DBD as possible. Dead by Daylight. Sorry. No, we're gonna be doing this a lot. It's just quicker to use acronyms. So I think that's a great touch. So any surprises you found along the way as you were doing that?
I mean, this won't be a surprise to most people, but it was to me. Was, like I said, just how passionate the community is. They're like you said, they're very.
So you're saying you're not saying acronyms, so everyone can understand what you're talking about. Okay.
They watch the trailers and they watch gameplay and they pixel peep.
Oh yeah.
And they kind of start stringing things together. And I imagine there's at least a few Five Nights fans with like the boards with pictures and the string over them.
Yes, which Jay, you're kind of famous for with Dracula. Hand drew some meme-worthy art, so maybe we'll have some more. But they're probably picking apart our outfits as we speak. Like, what is it? I just wanted people to see my cool new.
Well, why is he wearing red? Why is he wearing blue? Is that supposed to mean William Afton Henry?
My daughter bought me.
What is that supposed to mean?
Socks for Christmas.
Got Freddy on the feet. Likewise, my son gave me his Freddy plush for a good luck today. So we are loving it over here. So before we jump into the gameplay, why don't you tell us?
I have a bit of Five Nights at Freddy's plushies myself.
Springtrap.
Yeah,
bit of a Five
really
Nights at Freddy's merchandise, such as the shirt I'm wearing right now, which is Freddy Fazbear. But
gameplay-wise, they're pretty diametrically opposed. Five Nights at Freddy's is really about sitting still. You manage resources, particularly the battery. And try not to get killed. Whereas DBD is all about moving around, doing the gens. If you sit still, you're gonna get yourself
not
killed.
A good strategy.
It's not a great idea. So it really became about kind of nailing down what the quintessential Five Nights at Freddy's experience is. Things like the security office, the battery power, all those amazing jump scares, and just kind of figuring out how to adapt.
There might be some side stuff that we're gonna have to do inside the Five Nights at Freddy's
transition. Let's get into Springtrap specifically
chapter
and his gameplay.
Yeah. So one of the goals for Springtrap was to figure out how to lean into those jump scares, which are kind of the thing about the Five Nights at Freddy's games, right? Without making him just a straight up stealth killer, which was something we wanted to avoid. So I had this idea of doing something that we'd never really tried before, where we focus Springtrap kind of as a grab-based killer, because we have grabs in the game. They are inherently jump scares into themselves. It's right there. So we just kind of leaned into that and gave him.
That's
more
a
of
real
those
nice
there he is right there on screen.
image of Springtrap there.
We even have another one of him doing a little bit of a grab.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we gave him a pretty unique projectile, which is really cool.
Hold on.
Because we have grabs in DBD.
I'm just gonna go ahead and
inherently jump scares into themselves
take that off
there.
quickly.
So we just kind of leaned into that and gave him more of those opportunities.
Okay, screenshot that.
There he is,
and
weapons.
Screenshot this.
Announced. I know the community have been talking about it. So he has a large pizza knife.
Perfect.
His main weapon. And
sorry, I was just getting some stuff for thumbnail and stuff like that.
So let's talk about the axe. How do you use the axe? How's it different from
Oh, they're
projectiles
adding
that
the
other characters in
axe.
Dead by Daylight use?
They're
Yeah,
adding
so
the axe.
It's very unique. It's not going to play like any other.
If you guys know, you guys know.
Before.
Inside of
We wanted
like
to do
some
something a little
fan
bit,
FNAF animations, there was
interesting
Springtrap
with it.
using an axe
So
to
if you throw
destroy the
axe and
animatronics
hit something in the
with.
environment, whether it's a missed shot or it's deliberate, it creates an AoE that lasts about 15 seconds. And if a survivor walks through it, you get killer instinct on them for a short period of time. If you hit a survivor with it, kind of gets lodged in their back while you're chasing.
Kind of have an axe lodged in your back. No,
So they can remove it manually, or they can do it quicker in co-op with another survivor. As Springtrap, you can also retrieve it yourself. If you get in close, you can skip kind of the steps of downing the survivor and picking them up. You get in close to a survivor that has the axe embedded in them.
Damn.
Hit the button, you grab the axe and the survivor at the same time. You get a cool little jump,
That's
jump
awesome.
scare.
That's
and then you're carrying
actually
them on the
awesome.
shoulder. Couple of little notes. One of them is while you have your projectile available, you move at 4.4 meters per second. There he is.
there's a little glimpse of some jump scare action.
But
Hold on. Just for the thumbnail. Hope you guys understand.
once you've thrown the axe, you actually move at 4.6 meters per second. It's something that we've never really done base kit for a killer. It makes for some really interesting tactical choices, meaning that you have to recall the axe manually. It never comes back to you automatically unless you throw it out of the map, because you can make a mistake. But yeah, as long as it's in the environment or in a survivor or whatever it is, you have to.
Some of these images
lightens his load a little
might
bit,
not
makes him a
end
bit
up making the
faster.
cut for the thumbnail, but yeah.
So that brings us to another unique part of his gameplay, and I think super iconic to Five Nights at Freddy's, the security office. So let's get into that.
Yeah. So it was really important for us to give the killer and the survivor a really kind of interesting shared experience in that space, which allowed us to also lean into the jump scares. And some of the ways we came up with was to introduce a security office, which is part of any trial.
The security office is the main priority of Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, it's literally the place where you sit down and look around and press buttons.
And these can be used by survivors or killers to teleport around the map.
There be a door.
There it is. And survivors can also use them for surveillance. So as a survivor, you interact with the door. It brings up the camera view. You'll get the kind of iconic map view in the bottom right of all the different cameras. On the bottom left, you'll see your battery power, which we'll talk about in a second. You can see what's going on in the other doors. You can switch between doors. If you see something that, if it looks safe on the other end, you press the button, your character goes into the security office, and then it's kind of like a hands-off, almost like a theme park experience where you see this first-person view going through the office, which is really cool.
And one thing you mentioned, again, just in case we have new folks playing, regardless of what map you're playing on, this functionality, the security room will be there as long as Springtrap is the killer in the match.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And as a survivor, if you happen to see Springtrap through a camera, if you train your camera on him for a few seconds, he'll be revealed for a little bit for the whole survivor team.
And what about if, what if Springtrap goes in at the same time as a survivor goes in at a different door and they meet?
Yeah, so since they can both use the doors in the security office, we wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for that interaction. So if a survivor is moving through that space from one door to the other, and Springtrap, chooses one of those two doors, whether the one they're coming from or the one they're going to, he'll interrupt them in the security office for a fun surprise.
Ooh. Awesome. I love all the little touches that the team has planted in there like that. I think the fans are really going to love it. Including this, you mentioned the battery. Managing the battery is part of this as well. So how's that work in DBD?
Yeah, so survivors share a universal battery. It's shared amongst all of them.
It
drains a little bit, kind of ticks down per second while you're using the cameras. We didn't want players to just be the man in the chair and just sitting there and telling all their friends. So it drains a little bit. Using the teleporter to move around the map takes off a big old chunk in one shot. And then you have to kind of manage that battery as a team. It slowly recharges on its own over time, but you have to kind of manage when and where you're using it. If the battery does run out,
when I live stream this, I might play
doors, the
a
cameras, the
couple
office.
rounds as Survivor and a couple rounds as Killer. So,
but Springtrap is not affected by the battery. So if the survivors have kind of overplayed their hand and they shut the security office down, they've kind of given up their one bit of power in this chapter, and Springtrap can still use the doors and bounce around.
Oh,
and do whatever he
dangerous.
wants.
Dangerous. Fantastic. But what about disabling the doors?
Yes.
Yes.
So to go back to the axe, if the killer hits either a camera or a door, the whole thing, with their axe, that door and the camera becomes unavailable to survivors. They can't use it to teleport away, they can't teleport to that door, and they can't see through the camera that's been disabled.
damn.
Got it.
When the killer retrieves it, that effect lingers a little bit. It becomes a really cool way of like, I need to scope this area out, but I don't want to be revealed or seen. You can disable the door, move around, use it to fake the survivors out.
Got it. But it's not permanent. The door can be used again after the axe has been retrieved. Cool.
Unless it's in shutdown, which means the survivors can't use it anyway.
Right. Cool. Okay. So speaking about moving around the map, which it sounds like we have a new exciting way to do that. One of the coolest things about the chapter, in fact, is the map. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is now a new map, a new level within Dead by Daylight for DBD fans, specifically in the Withered Isle realm. So what can you tell us about the map?
Yeah, so the art team and the level design team, much like me, they did a ton of research. And like, I don't say this just because we're doing the stream here, but it's becoming one of my favorite maps. I love it so much. In the same way that we worked hard at kind of integrating a lot of opportunities for jump scares into the killer gameplay, their team really wanted to make sure that they did the same when it comes to things like Easter eggs and scares around the map. So it really pays off if you're kind of an exploratory player a little bit.
Amazing. So are there some areas that you want to shout out that Five Nights at Freddy's fans might recognize?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot. You'll see a lot of small references and stuff. But
All right.
Obviously, we've recreated a lot of kind of the iconic areas from the game, but we're also letting you exit
Awesome.
the pizzeria to explore.
Yeah. Because there's like a little outside place
and we wanted to kind of add a little bit more space
that
to
I saw
allow
inside
for
the
dining
image
and
teasers.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But for the rooms, we've got the lobby, we've got the dining hall, of course, with the full animatronic band on stage. It's very cool. And we have the arcade, which is, it's all very kind of creepily decorated, like a birthday party.
Yeah, there's some images.
And,
there's
we have
the images from
kitchen
Dawko's live
and
stream.
even the
Or not
mechanical
Dawko's
room,
live stream, but
which
like
is cool.
Dawko's video that
You can see
there
a
you
little
go.
window
someone
right there,
from
too.
So
Dead by
altogether,
Daylight
this
sent
should
them.
kind of feel like a formerly working
That looks like
pizzeria.
the
And of
Fast
course, this is
chair a
Dead
little
by
bit.
Daylight.
Well,
the entrance
like, it's
where you
supposed to
punch
be the
holes,
fast chair, but-
formations are everywhere to remind you exactly of where you.
it's
where
not
you still
exactly
are.
the
You're
way
making a judgment
the
call on
fast
those
chair looks
pustules
like.
there.
But if you're
get the
Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I think you're really gonna love the map. They've done a lot of really cool work.
Yeah, it's super fun.
I really do.
And it looks really
Personally,
good, too. The
as a
team,
Five
the
Nights at
art
Freddy's
team,
fan, I love them.
knocking out of the park. But also with Springtrap wandering around, it's like a terror. And I think for Five Nights at Freddy's fans, like, whoop, you're going to be in familiar territory.
Yeah.
there. So one other nice thing that we did mention on the PAX broadcast, but I do want to mention it again, we're going to have a separate queue for this map specifically, which means you want to go to the game and you just want to check out the map. Normally, in the past, you'd be in the general rotation of maps and all that. Now you can go straight in just to the pizzeria without having to hope that you get there. So it's going to be its own queue when you join the game.
Yeah, and that's a feature that's going forward with any chapter with a new map. We'll have a unique queue for that new map, which is really cool.
Perfect. Okay, how about some last tips
Yep.
for survivors and for killer players?
Yeah, so for the killer, as Springtrap, get used to the arc of the projectile. As I said, it's super unique compared to other projectile killers. We've done something that really allows you to.
Okay, so you're gonna be allowed to
shots.
throw
We've
things
seen
in
some really
Springtrap.
interesting ones
Okay.
on our internal playtest, it's been super fun. So test that out, get used to it, and take advantage of the jump scares.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're playing with your friends, hearing them shout in your ear is always a great time. But for survivors, take advantage of the cameras and the doors. It may seem a little unsafe because you can be interrupted or whatever, but they're really valuable tools if you get used to them and you use it to reveal the killer and kind of scoping out the area. you'll get more of an advantage out of them than I think you realize at first.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Jay, thank you so much, as always, for joining us on the couch with your wonderful work and the fun stuff that you've planted in there. Soon enough, people will get to play around with it. I know you're going to be glued to your Twitch screen so you can watch people play it and test it out. Thank you so much for joining us. The show must roll on. So next, we're going to bring out our friend Justin Banks to fill you in on DBD's anniversary event that's right around the corner.
Bye, everybody.
Is this above FNAF or no? I don't think this is. I think that was the only FNAF related thing that they were going to talk about. But yeah, anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to have a big fat thumbs up. And to people watching a live stream, make sure to have a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed the stream as well. I'm excited for this collab. I hope you guys are. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video and/or live stream. Peace.